Good afternoon, students. See, students, I hope that the earlier part that has been posted by me, you people have gone through it attentively and have understood. Not even a single student has bothered to ask me questions. That means very pleasantly, I suppose, and I hope that you people have understood till this part of the lesson. See, students, this is your class 12. Be serious, don't take any subject lightly. I know that many of you are focused on the subject which you consider it difficult. That is good, but don't ignore it. What I am trying to say is just follow the timetable that you have and just devote some time to other subjects also, so that you don't have to pay for that in the end in the board examination. And students, unless and until you go through the earlier part, what I will be delivering today, what I will be trying to explain today, it won't be comprehensible for you. You will not be able to understand it. Now, students, before I begin, I just want to say that the time is very critical. Stay safe, protect yourself. That is very, very important. Nothing is more important than health. So stay safe, be protected, and study hard. So let us continue. See, till now we have studied that how this peddler have fallen into the rat trap, how he went into the why he went into the forest, how he was able to come out of that forest. After coming out of the forest, where he was, and then uh, the visit of the Iron Master, why that Iron Master invited the peddler home. Was he successful in inviting the peddler? If not, why? These answers you should know. If you do not know, read the chapter again. And then, when the Iron Master's invitation was declined, what happened? It was Edla Wilmanson, the Iron Master's daughter, who came in to invite the peddler. This Edla Wilmanson, she was very compassionate, very sympathetic, very understanding. She had that power to understand the character, and that is why she guessed that this fellow has either escaped from jail or has stolen something. And that is why the sentence, I'm reading it again, though we have completed it. She said that you may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Means, as freely as you will come to our house, in the same manner you will be allowed to leave our home. Means, nothing bad will happen to you, no harm will be inflicted to you on your visit to our home. This was a sort of assurance also that she was giving to the Ironmaster. And then she said only, please stay with us over Christmas Eve. Students, many of you may be knowing that Christmas Eve is on 24th evening of December. 25th is Christmas, everybody knows that. 24th, the evening before Christmas, is Christmas Eve. Okay, so don't get confused. This is Christmas Eve. That means she is inviting him. She says only, please stay with us over Christmas Eve. She said that in such a friendly manner that the rat trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. We are on page number 38. Those who are still struggling, where ma'am is reading. Now, it would never have occurred to me that you would bother me with yourself, miss, he said. I will come at once. So her invitation was very much accepted. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him with a deep bow. Means he bent down to the valet. Valet, I have already told you, is a male attendant. Here it is a is the servant. So he was carrying a valet. Now this fellow who he accepted the invitation. Not only that, he also accepted the fur coat which was given to him, handed over with a deep bow, threw it over his, and this fellow then threw it over his rags and followed the young lady out to the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as a glance. Astonished blacksmith. Now, why was the blacksmith astonished? Two mark question. And this fellow, the peddler, even did not grant him a glance, means even he did not bother to look at him. Who? The blacksmith. See, students, this peddler treated him, rather behaved with him, with the blacksmith in the same manner in which he was treated when he wanted the permission, when he was seeking the permission to stay that night for in the iron mill. The blacksmith had just given a haughty consent. He had just nodded. He just not have even uttered a single word. In the same manner, when he was going with the ironmaster's daughter, he did not even grant a glance, a look towards the blacksmith. And blacksmith obviously was very astonished that a ragamuffin, a man with rags, very poor looking man, has been there, wanted to stay one night there. He was called by the owner of that iron mill. So obviously it was very astonishing. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. Who is he here? The rat trap seller. Evil forebodings. See, FORE. Four is anything when pre. Evil forebodings. Why? Again, because he had stolen 30 kronas. So bad forebodings were there in his mind that anything bad could happen with him. Okay. Now, why the devil did I take that fellow money? That fellow's money. Who is that fellow here? The crofter. He thought, now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. This he was thinking. He himself was now analyzing why did he steal that money, those 30 krona. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. Whom he had run across so unexpectedly means obviously he was not expecting that when he will have a regular visit to his iron mill, he will find an old friend and a regimental comrade. So he was just waiting for him to see him when he cleans himself, when he shave himself, when he have had a bath. First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones, means he gets a bit healthier, eat properly, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table. And then we must see that he gets something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. So, two initial plans of the ironmaster for the betterment of his old regimental comrade was first that he wanted to improve his health. Secondly, he wanted to uh, see some kind of respectable job for his friend so that he does not roam about or wander about in the country selling rat traps. It is queer. It is strange. Queer means strange, students. Very odd, very strange. It is queer that things have gone downhill with him as badly as that, said the daughter. Last night I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. This is who is speaking these lines? It is Edla Wilkinson. She said, when I saw him and looking at him, it is very difficult even to think that this man once had been an educated man. Which man? The rat trap seller. You must have patience, my little girl, said the father. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. This man will look different. Last night he was naturally embarrassed, shy of his rags, of his condition, of his poor condition. The tramp manners will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. Underline this. This is spoken by the ironmaster, the father of Edgar Wilkinson. He said that the tramp manners, the manners of wandering, begging, all will fall away from him as soon as he changes his clothes, he is groomed properly. Just as he said this, the door opened and the stranger entered. Yes, now he was truly clean and well dressed. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair, shaved him. Moreover, he was dressed in a good looking suit of clothes which belonged to the ironmaster. He wore a white shirt and a starched collar and whole shoes. Even her shoes were proper. Here, whole shoes obviously means the shoes were not torn. But again, a twist in the story, students. Although his guest was so well groomed, so well bathed, so well dressed up, the ironmaster did not seem pleased, did not seem happy. He looked at him with puckered brow, wrinkles in the brow, puckered like this. When we see something like this is puckered brow. And it was easy to understand that when he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection of the furnace, he might have made a mistake. But that now, when he stood there in broad daylight, it was impossible to mistake him for an old acquaintance. So, what is it? That means when this man was groomed in the broad daylight, the ironmaster realized his mistake. What was his mistake? That he had mistook this fellow as his old regimental friend. Rather, now in the broad daylight in his home, he saw that this was not his friend. The peddler was someone else. XYZ, somebody else, but not that army friend, that regimental friend. What does this mean? He thundered, showed his anger, thundered. What does this mean? The stranger made no attempt to dissimulate. He did not do anything. He did not make any attempt to dissimulate. Yes, here dissimulate is he did not even attempted to pretend that he was his old regimental friend. The stranger had no attempt, he did not even made attempt to dissimulate. Dissimulate, underline this word, is to pretend something else, means reality is something, and when we pretend that something else is there, so that is dissimulate. He saw at once that the splendor, that wonder that he would be treated very nicely, so that splendor had come to an end. And he was very honest here in replying. It's not my fault, sir, he said. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader, and I pledged and begged to be allowed to stay in the forge. But no harm has been done. At worst, I can put on my rags again. I can change my clothes, I can put on my rags and go away. This is what the the peddler's reply was. Well, said the ironmaster, hesitating a little. It was not quite honest either. Underline this. If you are asked a question why it was not honest or why the peddler was not honest according to the ironmaster, he said that you must admit that, and I should not be surprised if the sheriff would have to like to have something to say in the matter. Sheriff here otherwise means sheriff means officer here. It means police. Now, why the peddler was not honest according to the ironmaster? See, ironmaster was mistaken. The peddler would have revealed the truth at that very time, but he didn't. And this is what made him angry. Whom? Ironmaster. And now he's thinking of calling the sheriff. So he says, you must admit that, and I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something to say in this matter. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. Fist, you understand? This is fist. Now I am going to tell you, Mr. Ironmaster, how things are, he said. Here he is just describing his philosophy. Be attentive, you may get a 6-mark question over here. This whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rinds. See, rinds otherwise means the outer portion of food. Here just cheese rinds and bits of pork. All the good things that are offered to you are nothing but cheese rinds and bits of pork set out to drag a poor fellow. Wait. Yes. A poor fellow into trouble. And if the sheriff comes now and locks me up for this, then you, Mr. Ironmaster, must remember that the day may come when you yourself may want to get a big piece of pork and then you will get caught in the trap. See, first here he is explaining this. The world is a rat trap. He says that I was attracted towards the comfort, maybe the type of treatment I will have at your home. I was attracted towards that and I have fallen into the rat trap. Then he is also warning the Ironmaster here. He says, look, Mr. Ironmaster, you must remember that a day will come. Day may come when you yourself want a big piece of pork. See, why he is using the word big piece of pork. And then he says, then you will also get caught in the rat trap. It is according to the status of people in the society, students. See, the lower middle class, the poor people, they are attracted even to small things. Those who are big shots, big businessmen, they don't go for small things. They go for big things. Here he is referring to that only, and that is why he's saying that you will also get attracted towards a big piece of pork, and then you will got in the trap. The ironmaster began to laugh. That was not so badly said, my good fellow. Perhaps we should let the sheriff alone on Christmas Eve. Means we should not call the sheriff because it was Christmas Eve. He must be the sheriff. The officer may be celebrating that day. But now get out of your here as fast as you can. But just as the man was opening the door, the daughter said, I think he ought to stay with us today. I don't want him to go. And with that, she went and closed the door. See the difference between the ironmaster and his daughter, Edla Wilminson. She closed the door. She said, no, I think that because we have invited him, he should stay here at least for Christmas Eve and Christmas and should enjoy lunch and dinner. What in the world are you doing? You are giving shelter to some unknown person. This is what her father said. What in the world are you doing? Said the father. The daughter stood They are quite embarrassed and hardly knew what to answer. That morning, she had felt so happy when she thought how home-like and Christmassy she was going to make things for the poor, hungry wretch. See the compassion in this girl students. She was very happy that she would be able to feed a hungry man, a poor wretch. She was very happy that, and that was why she had interceded for the vagabond. Interceded means she has interrupted what was going on between her father, the ironmaster, and the peddler. So that is called interceded. When you interfere something, interceded. Okay, I'm thinking of this stranger here, said the young girl. He walks and walks the whole year long, and there is probably not a single place in the whole country where he is welcome and can feel at home. Whenever he turns, he is chased away. Obviously, this is very natural. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross examined. I think I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. This is the explanation that the daughter gave. That look at this man, he's so poor, he has no home, he keeps on walking and walking, wandering here and there. And obviously, such type of people, wherever they rest or wherever they want shelter, they are chased away. This is what she is saying. Wherever he turns, he is chased away. Always he is afraid of being arrested and cross examined, and that is why she says, I should like to have him enjoy a day of peace with us here, just one in the whole year. The ironmaster mumbled something, he just mumbled, said something in his own beard, means not was not audible to others, and he could not bring himself to oppose her, means he could not oppose his daughter. It was all a mistake, of course, she continued, but anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here. It was not the man who came there willingly, it was them who just insisted him to visit their place. This is what she is saying. That anyway, I don't think we ought to chase away a human being whom we have asked to come here and to whom we have promised Christmas happiness, Christmas cheer. You do preach worse than a parson. Means now your preaching has started. It is worse than a parson. Parson is one father in the church. Said the ironmaster, I only hope you won't get have to regret this. What is this here? Suppose you get reference to question, reference to context question. Father says, I only hope you won't have to regret this. This here stands for what? This here stands for the decision to allow the peddler to stay at their home and enjoy Christmas. I hope the answer is clear to you, students. The young girl took the stranger by the hand and led him up to the table. Now sit down and eat, she said, for she could see that her father had given in, surrendered, will not oppose now. The man with the rat trap said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. Time after time, he looked at the young girl who had interceded, who has interfered for him. Why had she done it? What could the crazy idea be? Why was she so very helpful for a stranger? This he was wondering, thinking. After that, Christmas Eve at Ramso passed just as it always had. The stranger did not cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. The whole afternoon, the whole forenoon, he lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms and slept at one stretch. At noon, they woke up. They woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare. Good Christmas fare, FARE. Good Christmas fare. Here, Christmas fare means Christmas food. Underline this. Don't get confused. What is FARE fare? But after that, he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he had not been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsur. So this is what all had happened when he reached his home, how he was opposed by the ironmaster, then how Edla persuaded him and her father to stay, and how he had his supper, and then he slept and slept and slept. This is what all happened, students. Be ready for 6 mark question here. In the evening, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room, blinking because he was sleeping. So when he got up, he was blinking as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that, he disappeared again. 2 hours later, after 2 hours, he was aroused once more. He was woken up, and then he had to go down into the dining room and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said thank you and good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore, that suit and shirt that he was wearing, he wore was to be a Christmas present. He did not have to return it. And if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, he would be welcomed back. See, so two things here. She said that the dress he was wearing, he did not have to return, and she even extended invitation to this fellow for the next year's Christmas Eve. And she said that you would be welcome back again. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared, looked at the young girl in boundless, without limitation, boundless amazement, wonder. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter got up in good season to go to the early Christmas service. Their guest was still asleep and they did not disturb him. When at about 10 o'clock they drove back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. Something bad has happened. This man was sleeping. Father and daughter visited the church, and this girl, Edla Wilman, she was hanging herself dejectedly in a very sad manner. Why? Answer is, at church she had learned that one of the old crofters of the ironworks had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps. Means now they knew the truth of the peddler, that the peddler had robbed a crofter who used to work earlier in the iron mill. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said the father. So obviously it was the turn of the father to speak, because he did not want the man to stay at home. It was the daughter who had persuaded him. Now, so father says, very good. That was a fine fellow, very nice fellow that you let him into the house. I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. Means maybe he had ran away with all the household articles, household things. The wagon had hardly stopped at the front step when the ironmaster asked the valet whether the stranger was still there. He added that he had heard at church that the man was a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package, a small parcel, which Miss Wilmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. That means the rat trap seller had left something as Christmas present for this daughter. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done, very badly packed, that the contents came into view at once. She gave a little cry of joy. She found a small rat trap in it. Lay three wrinkled 10 kroner notes. That means the man was reformed. He had kept those 30 kroner wrinkled notes in the rat trap. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter written in large, very jagged characters. Jagged means not even, in a very rough way. He had written something. A letter was also there. Honored and noble miss, Since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain in real, I want to be nice to you in return, as if I was a real captain. For I do not want you to be embarrassed at this Christmas season by a thief. But you can give back the money to the old man on the roadside who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for poor wanderers. Means that man also has kept that pouch near the window. Just he was inviting the poor wanderers, he was laying bait for them. The rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world's rat trap if he had not been raised to captain. Who had raised him as a captain? As a captaincy. Captain here does not mean only rank students. Captain here means that he was reformed. He was reformed by the goodness in the behavior of the daughter of the ironmaster. And this is what he's saying, that I was just like a rat. I was in the rat trap, but now I have been raised as a captain, because in that way he got the power to clear himself. He is indirectly referring to himself, that now I have cleared myself, written with friendship and with high regard, Captain Wonsdale. And in the end, he signed the letter as Captain Wonsdale. Don't get confused, he was not Captain Wonsdale, but he was a reformed man. Now he is behaving like a real captain, and that is why he signed that letter as Captain Wonsdale. He has returned those 30 kroners, he has gifted a small rat trap, and above all, he has simply accepted his mistake. He had accepted that he was a thief, and now he has been reformed. By whom? By Edla Wilkinson. Okay, students. Now I will give, after this I will give you questions. Okay.